Hello, you're listening to Archaeopolitics. What is Archaeopolitics, you may ask? It's a Harry Potter reread podcast focusing on politics in the wizarding world. I'm Adri, one of your hosts and a recovering English major who is once again imploring everyone out there to please get vaccinated so this pandemic that is more stubborn than the Inferi can finally end.
Yes, I am Helene, your co-host, producer, and, well, person whose life has been irrevocably changed by one singular TikTok video on the internet.
The internet is life-changing, Helene. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, yep. I watched this video, and I will never be the same person that I was before, so
I think we should just cut the crap and get into it, right? Let's talk about this video.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, guys, this is Harry Potter related too, because don't worry. This is Harry Potter related, I promise.
Please describe in your words.
I was scrolling through TikTok, as I do, for hours, starting at around 11:30 after I've gotten into bed ready to go to sleep. And then I don't end up going to bed till 2. I just watch TikTok for hours. I was doing my nightly TikTok routine, and a video popped up by a TV show channel platform, TBS, which, as, big Daniel Radcliffe fans will know, is where his new show, Miracle Workers, is showing. I have seen the first 2 seasons, but the 3rd season is about Oregon Trail, and I don't have TBS or cable. I have to wait for them to go up on HBO Max, so I have not seen them yet. But this video was a promo for this new season from the episode that aired the night before. And it was how do I describe it?
Okay. Continue.
Daniel Radcliffe was in it.
Okay, continue. I think we've already established that.
He was on a stage in a saloon of some sort. This taking place in the Oregon Trail times. Yet he was dressed provocatively.
You would say maybe, perhaps, perchance, a saloon girl? Saloon girl.
I would say similar to, picture it. The movie is Rocky Horror Picture Show. The character is Frankenfurter, played by Tim Curry.
But it's old-timey in the Wild West.
The outfit was not old-timey.
No. I mean, the setting is old-timey.
Yes, the setting
Picture
is
it, a saloon.
Yes, a saloon back in Oregon Trail times. Daniel Radcliffe on stage, dressed very similarly to Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Almost exactly the same outfit, I would say. Leather, tight, exposing in some places. And then full face glitter makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to what's that one? It's something about Hedwig. Also Harry Potter related, but not.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch?
Yes, Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I've seen people dressing up in that sort of costume, and I feel like the makeup is similar to that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Agreed.
And he is...
Which also, Hedwig and the Angry Inch and, the Rocky Horror Picture Show are very, queer theory texts as in film, right? So those are very, very about, gender fluidity and about, sexuality being a spectrum and I guess, going past sexual norms and behaviors, kind of
and this video fits into that.
It's very sexually confusing for Helene since she loves Sanrad.
I'll get to that. Yes. So we can add Miracle Workers to the list of that type of gender text. But he is dancing to and singing to she'll be
Let's not
coming
forget
round the
the
mountain.
singing.
Yes,
Let's not
she'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. He is singing this song while dancing provocatively in this getup, which I hope you have. I hope I have painted a very elaborate mental picture for you
A
at this point
vivid
in your life.
picture, as it were.
You know, he's doing all the like normal stripper dance things, and then at the end, now this is what ruined me. This is what irrevocably just changed me completely. At the end, he gets up on a piano and he's singing "When She Comes." That's the like she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, you know. So and so this is like talk about Alchemy Politics After Dark. This was like a normal promo for like a TBS show that was like on all social media. Anyway, he gets on top of the piano and like lays on his back on the piano and puts his feet up like on the wall, you know, gyrates with his, you know, pelvis, uh, intensely singing the line "When She Comes" more and more intensely until he screams and falls limp. And
And Helene's sexual fantasies just got way complicated.
it was yeah, I'm sorry, but like I as someone who I can't even form words right now, as someone who was already intensely attracted to Daniel Radcliffe.
What?
I have been since I was like 11. I love him. He's like my number one celebrity crush of all time. I have an autographed, framed photograph that I got from him. It's of him, so signed by him, framed, that I got when I wrote him a letter when I was 12 years old. That's how much I love this man. And
I feel like
you know,
you should write again, but this time just get a picture of him in his outfit from that scene.
I just need everybody to go watch it. I'll retweet it or something.
We'll have
So
to
you can
tweet
find
it.
it.
Like we have to do this for the fandom, for our listeners.
I sent the video to all of the leadership team at MuggleNet when I saw it this morning, because I was like, if I have to witness this and live with having seen this, so does everybody else, and we all have to deal with our emotions together, because I can't go through this alone, which is why I'm telling all of you listeners, really, you have to deal with this as well.
Okay, so to quote you in the text you sent me last night when you discovered this, in all caps, Adri WTF. That is all the context she gave me, listeners, before I clicked on this video.
Yep, and then I just proceeded to say, I don't know what to feel, because I don't, and I still don't.
It's okay. We're just processing our feelings together, you know?
Yeah, like, I'm like, what is, like, what? I can't. I don't even know. Anyway, so, yeah, go watch this video. You will see Harry Potter in a brand new light. Daniel Radcliffe has done some, like, interesting
we've really
work.
like season, I don't know what is about Half-Blood Prince, but season 6 has really turned into Politics After Dark, like
It really
every
has.
single episode.
Yeah, I mean, like, Daniel Radcliffe has done very like provocative things throughout his career after Harry Potter. Like, if as some people tend to forget,
Equus?
Equus,
yep.
Yes,
that was like the first thing he did right after Harry Potter.
Some people tend to forget that he performed full frontal nudity on stage in Equus, where like his character, I think, fucks horses or something. I never saw the play.
I want to summarize everything from now on.
And like he's done like other movies such as Swiss Army Man, where he plays an animated corpse.
Basically an inferi who is basically like a multi-use corpse.
Yes, and like his magical corpse undead powers, like farting or something. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. This is what the movie is about. So yeah, but like and I've loved him in Miracle Workers up until now, and I'm sure I will love season 3 when it finally, when I'm finally able to view it when it goes on HBO Max after its completion. But this was just new because it's not what I expected from this show. Anyway, I feel like we've talked about it quite a bit. Go watch the video. Tell me how your life was changed. I need people to be experiencing this with me so that I know that I am not alone. So reach out. Aciopolitics at gmail.com, at Aciopolitics on all social media. You can also follow me, my personal social media accounts if you would like, and reach out to me there. It is at Helene Carp on Twitter and at Helene.carp on Instagram. Just let me know what you think.
Helene, you are transforming lives. Did you know that? Were you aware of that about yourself?
I'm not doing the transforming. Daniel Radcliffe is doing the transforming.
That's not what today's episode is about, right? Like today, we will be talking about chapter 4 of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This one is titled Horace Slughorn. So previously we ended up with like Dumbledore being like, bitches, you haven't treated Harry right, and he like stuck up for him. And today we're going to be talking about the side quest that Dumbledore took Harry on the way to the Burrow.
The side quest. I love it.
Was it not a side quest?
No, it was. It's a great way to explain it. Yes. Okay, well, I put lots of thought into these summaries every week, and what I've cooked up for you today for chapter 4 of Half-Blood Prince, entitled Horace Slughorn, is this. This is the one where Harry and Dumbledore visit Professor Slughorn to convince him to come out of retirement and return to his post at Hogwarts. Dumbledore also answers a few of Harry's burning questions and asks him to take private lessons with him this year before dropping him off at the Burrow for the remainder of the summer.
All right. Fantastic. All right. So, that being said, when you read this chapter this time around, you were like, okay, let's think about politics. What was the politic that you chose?
Yeah, the one that I went with, I kind of like went between what to call it. I was like, first of all, I thought about maybe going with recruitment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like what usually happens is like I think of a politic, I look up the definition of it, and if the like of the word, even though like I know what the word means, like, oh, I know what recruitment means. Like I look up the definition of the word from like reputable sources, and if I like don't feel like it fits with the theme of the chapter, then I'll move on to a different one. And so recruitment was just like, I was like, yeah, it doesn't feel like what they were doing was really recruiting Slughorn as much as like convincing Slughorn,
influencing Slughorn.
Yeah, it was a different thing. So I at first I was like, hidden agenda was kind of what I was playing with, but then when I looked up the definition of hidden agenda, the term ulterior motive showed up in the definition, and I was like, ooh, no, that's what I want to do. So my politics.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right. Yep. So I always have like a little journey I take every week. But this week, my politic that I landed on was ulterior motive. And an ulterior motive is what it's called, is an alternative or extrinsic reason for doing something, especially when concealed or when differing from the stated or apparent reason. So obviously in this chapter, Dumbledore brings Harry along to Slughorn's house, or wherever Slughorn happens to be staying at the moment, to convince him to join back on Hogwarts staff. But that is not the obvious reason as to why Harry is there. He doesn't tell Harry or Slughorn exactly why he brought Harry. Although he kind of tells Harry, like, oh, I want you to help me, convince him to come back. But he doesn't tell him exactly how Harry's presence is going to achieve that. So Dumbledore has some sort of ulterior motives with bringing Harry along on his side quest.
I mean, once again, one Harold Potter Yes, I did say Harold, is used as bait for Dumbledore's bidding.
Yeah, but at least like he's not in any danger.
Well,
Like,
oh, that bar is so low, it's
yep,
in hell.
yeah, yep. I mean, Dumbledore, sees the best way to go about it, and he's like, I'm gonna do it. And it doesn't hurt Harry, so I can't be mad about it this time. I can't be mad about it, but in other instances, it's definitely okay to be mad about it.
Okay. Well, I think I truly back up your politic. Mine is a little tiny bit different. I didn't want to focus on the I guess the manipulation of it all because yes, that is important and also I also filled out the document second, so I was like shit, I have to come up with something different. Um, but
Early bird gets the worm.
yes, listeners, this is what happens every week. Because Helene, as a Hufflepuff, is diligent, and I, as a Gryffindor, am fly by the seat of my pants. It is what it is.
Hardworking. It is part of our brand.
Well, yes, exactly. But, diligent and hardworking. Is that not what I said? Am I not?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. So I was thinking a lot more about how people acted and who they were in relationship to each other. And it occurred to me that this chapter is a really good representation of the difference between showmanship and celebrity. So like showmanship is boastful. It's like, look at me. I'm glittery. Aren't I important? Everyone look here cuz I have so much influence. And celebrity is how people perceive you regard whether or not you display showmanship or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Dumbledore is a great example of someone who often uses showmanship in his like flourishes of like when he disappeared in front of the ministry last book and he was like bye bitches, or when he's like making like a wry joke or something like that. And he is also a celebrity in his own right, despite the fact that he's like displaying showmanship like qualities because he's a fantastic and well-known wizard. Harry only has celebrity. He doesn't do the like, hey, look at me, aren't I glittery, aren't I great?
Great.
But Slughorn is definitely a showman. He's like, look at all the people I've collected over the years. I have so much influence. And because he's just a showman and not a celebrity, he is intensely drawn to celebrity because he sees potential and he wants to exploit it and be connected to it somehow. To say, I too was,
Yeah.
a part of this.
I think part of it kind of is like, it's also their level of like how much they want celebrity. So like Slughorn wants celebrity so badly, and Harry doesn't want celebrity at all.
Well, Slughorn doesn't want to be like I think Dumbledore says this later.
Yeah,
Slughorn
you're
doesn't
right.
necessarily want to be a celebrity. He wants to be surrounded by celebrities.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
collects celebrities to display. Like I was even thinking of like The Greatest Showman, that film. The showman himself has no real talent, but he recruits and surrounds
Hugh Jackman can
himself.
sing.
Correct, but like and the reality of that story, P.T. Barnum had no talents. Hugh Jackman is a legend, and I love him very much. But he collects these celebrities or these people with talent and with abilities to draw in crowds, and
Yeah.
he just like says, "Look at this person." Like it's more about I connected all this together. Look at me. I did this, and I influence these people, or I connected these people, or
Yeah,
I
like
boosted these
influencers.
people. Yeah. Influencers, showmen of the modern age.
They are.
Some can also be celebrities. Like the thing is like
Yeah,
it's not one or the other, but in this chapter you see like the gradations throughout.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that that's very well thought out. Definitely.
Now, when you were like, okay, ulterior motive, let's go dive in deep. What was the quote or moment where you were like, yep, this is it, this is the moment?
Right. So they were leaving Slughorn's, about to apparate over to the Burrow, and the quote goes like this: "Well done, Harry," said Dumbledore. "I didn't do anything," said Harry in surprise. "Oh, yes, you did. You showed Horace exactly how much he stands to gain by returning to Hogwarts."
Oh man, that was like
So
sneaky, sneaky, sneaky from
yes,
Dumbledore.
this is kind of like where Harry starts learns for the first time, like what he was actually brought there for. Like he wasn't just there to like help Dumbledore get this guy to agree to come back. I mean, on the surface he was, but like he's there in this moment. Harry's learning exactly how he is the only one who could have done this.
He was the tastiest morsel that Dumbledore could offer Horace Slughorn.
Yes, exactly.
Or Sloris, as we decided last week to call her, to call him.
Dolores, right?
Sloris.
Oh goodness, yep. So, what about you? What was a quarter moment that stood out to you?
Whew.
That for showmanship slash celebrity.
Well.
Mm.
This is, I want to set the scene for you, if you will. This is
Picture it.
after picture it. After Dumbledore and Harry leave Horace Slughorn's temporary abode. Harry had a sudden and vivid mental image of a great swollen spider, spinning a web around it, twitching a thread here and there to bring its large and juicy flies a little closer. I tell you all this, Dumbledore continued, not to turn you against Horace, or as we must now call him, Professor Slughorn, but to put you on your guard. He will undoubtedly try to collect you, Harry. You would be the jewel of his collection, the boy who lived, or, as they call you these days, the chosen one.
Yeah,
I
this is a good quote. I gotta say, I totally forgot about that one tiny little metaphor that she stuck in there about like, I just love how she just stuck in that metaphor about the spider spinning the
and
web.
then so I was gonna say this chapter is full. It has two mentions of spiders.
Hmm.
Once here when Harry has that vivid image, and secondly when they get to the burrow and like there's like a huge spider, like there's a spider on Dumbledore's head, much like the fly that wouldn't leave Pence's head during the
During
debates.
the debate, yes. If only the spider was there, because then it would have eaten that fly.
Oh, that would have been great
Dumbledore's
TV,
head spider,
honestly.
Dumbledore's head spider, and Pence's head fly were a match made in heaven.
They're BFFs. I don't know if they're an iconic duo.
Yes, hell yes.
So one of the reasons I thought this was a good quote when it came to showmanship and celebrity is when Dumbledore is saying the quiet part out loud,
Hmm.
and Harry's imagery in his mind is so vivid and evocative
Hmm.
and perfect when it comes to Horace. Like, yeah, he's just spitting this web and kind of like twitching certain strings to kind of bring everyone a little closer
Yep.
so that he can kind of see his trophies. And Harry is not, let me see how I can say this. Like Harry is used to being objectified
Hmm.
because of his celebrity. So this is not a new feeling for him. I mean, we all know he felt that way with Gilderoy Lockhart. At least,
Definitely.
I think that's the earliest I can remember, even though he was getting adjusted to his celebrity in book one. But I think he really understood how being a visible person or personality in the wizarding world, especially for a thing that he cannot control or even remember, created him into more of an object to be admired and like
I
kind of
mean,
tossed around.
yeah, not to that
Go ahead.
extent, but but we do see it in the first book, like just when he walks into the leaky cauldron with Hagrid for the very first
I
time,
was
kind
just
of.
thinking about that, but then it's not as apparent that Harry understands the objectification.
Yeah, true.
And later, even later on, like Goblet of Fire, that becomes even more readily apparent that he's being, you know, treated as a commodity by Rita Skeeter and everyone involved in the Triwizard Tournament, and Fudge, even, right? Like back when Fudge still loved Harry before book 5. So this is nothing. It seems to me like every even numbered book, there is a really clear thread of Harry's celebrity turning him into an object of fascination for the public.
Yeah, it's like a whole new type of ring theory, I guess. String
Hey,
theory.
no, we can call this, I don't know, even number theory.
Oh, right, because string theory actually does exist as like a physics thing. So never mind. But
Yes. So it'd be like odd and even number theory. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
hopscotch theory. I don't know because of hops the
I
books.
love it.
Anyway,
Hopscotch
um,
theory.
um, so when I thought about what character embodied my politic, I obviously had to go with Dumbledore. So mine's super obvious because like who else? No one else really has an ulterior motive in this chapter. I
Well,
guess like I mean
but
Slughorn's motive
yes.
to collect Harry, I guess, but like I don't know if that's super ulterior. I guess it's ulterior to Harry. Like I guess Harry doesn't know until Dumbledore tells him, but like Dumbledore knows for sure. That's what
But Horace
Slughorn's
thinks that
gonna
he's
do.
being real sly, you know?
I guess that's true. Yeah, yeah. I
The
mean, Dumbledore's
intent is there.
yeah, Dumbledore's the more obvious answer. But for you, you kind of already explained how every single character in this chapter, all three characters, if you don't count the spider, show some form of showmanship and or celebrity. So, what character do you think embodies your politic overall for this chapter?
I went back and forth on this. I think Slughorn for sure, because in his mind, even though Dumbledore understands Slughorn better than he does himself, better than Slughorn understands himself, I should say. I think in his own mind, he is both a showman and a celebrity because of his proximity to power and people who are, you know, and people who are great witches and wizards in their own right. Just because he believes himself to be important because of his proximity to celebrity and power, and maybe thinks of himself as somewhat of a celebrity, he's definitely just a showman, no celebrity. Even though, like, they love him, like they send him gifts and whatnot. There's that difference between of how you see yourself versus how other people see you. I'm always very curious about that because I'm like,
Well,
of course people,
yeah,
you know
and I think it's really possible. So, like, it's kind of one side. I think Slughorn's the right choice because it's like kind of impossible to be a showman without wanting some form of celebrity. Like
correct.
people aren't showmen without wanting some recognition. While on the flip side,
Hmm.
it is 100% possible to be a celebrity but not want any showmanship or have anything to do with showmanship. So I feel like the
Well,
showmanship
you could
kind
be
of embodies them both in a way.
yeah, you can be notorious for something or famous for something and not want to even get the attention for it like Harry
Yeah.
is. Because Harry's just like, man,
Or
I just
like
just want to be a normal teenager.
or like Monica Lewinsky, for example. Like she wanted nothing more to be than to like not be in the public eye. She didn't want to be
Hmm.
known. She was made famous and well known for a reason that she did not want to be known for, to this day still. But so just like a real life example of that. While on the other hand, there are people who the only reason you're really going to be a showman is because you want people to be paying attention. You want that
All right,
attention.
like, do you want like a current example of a person who's definitely a showman? I will give you a hint. They work harder than the devil.
Work harder than the devil.
Okay,
I
you
don't know.
know,
Little
like there's
Nas
like
X.
there's that like joke of like the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder.
Oh, I not see. I don't know enough about the Jenners. No, I mean I agree. About probably the entire family, honestly.
No, I mean, I think they maybe perhaps most of them began as more like showmen and became celebrities in their own right. Whether you agree with me or not that they are talented, I am not saying they are talented. I am just saying they're celebrities. They're notorious. Um,
Yeah.
but Kris Jenner, as like the momager, is not seeking necessarily a spotlight for herself, but for her offspring.
Yeah. When you said works harder than the devil, I definitely was like, well, I said Little Nas X because of the music video for
Oh no.
Montero. I was like, he works hard on the devil.
Well, he works real hard on the devil, but guess what? That man is a celebrity and a fantastic showman.
Yes, I follow him on TikTok. He is very, very entertaining. Coming right back to TikTok. Anyway.
This is a TikTok episode.
Yes. Yeah, so as far as throughout the book, I mean, we see another character throughout the book and of course also throughout the series with an ulterior motive, and that is Snape. Kind of goes along with his espionage, his double agency, all that stuff, but he has ulterior motives for helping out the Death Eaters and helping out Malfoy and doing Voldemort's bidding. He has ulterior motives for every single thing that he does that is quote unquote evil for this book and the series, because he needs to, and his main goal is to convince Voldemort that he is on his side and inevitably actually help Dumbledore with whatever he has going on, and he has to do one to achieve the other, and he's the only one other than Dumbledore who knows these ulterior motives.
Yes, that sneaky bastard. He kept us guessing till the very end.
Yep. What about you? What throughout the book did you see in terms of showmanship and celebrity?
Well, I feel like we kind of covered it briefly, but now that everyone knows Voldemort's back in Half-Blood Prince, Harry's celebrity is well and truly restored, and then you have someone like Professor Slughorn added into the mix, and then you're like, huh, well, this is gonna get real interesting when it comes to like showmanship and celebrity, and then like Dumbledore's giving him lessons, and like all it's kind of all like coming together into this kind of cauldron of bubbling notoriety for Harry.
Yeah, I mean, this book is, in terms of Harry's celebrity, this book is definitely memorable because we get that iconic line in the movie of like, she only likes you because she thinks you're the chosen one, and he goes, but I am the chosen one, and then Hermione smacks him at the nose with the newspaper or whatever she's holding.
It's beautiful. It's
Yes.
beautiful. Can't wait.
I gotta say that it's my least favorite movie, but I am excited to watch it for this podcast.
Maybe it'll become still your least favorite movie, but maybe it'll like raise in your esteem a second, like a little tiny bit.
For like completely 100% separated from the book, not a bad movie. In terms of it being a Harry Potter movie, bad movie. Anyway.
But we will get to that. We will get to that point much later in our season of Half-Blood Prince.
Yes. But until
speaking of things that you don't like,
yes.
You know what else people don't like?
Ted Cruz. Oh,
that too. Well, I'm sorry. Did you say Dementors in another language?
Yes, I said Dementors in the
in the Texan American.
Yeah, the foreign language of politician.
What was your Dementor?
Yes, my Dementor for this chapter, well, the first one, that is kind of a joke, is the fact that this chapter forced me to think about the entire concept of Dumbledore pooping.
Thank you for that. I
Yes.
feel like we don't have enough content about bowel movements. Although, again, think about it. In the even numbered books, there are iconic scenes, including this one, in toilets or around restrooms.
This is true. I mean, it just seemed kind of lazy. Like, there could have been any number of reasons why Dumbledore had to leave the room for, like, an extended period of time. But she had him say that he had to go to the bathroom, and he was gone for, like, a long time. And when he comes back...
but, he could be combing his beard. He could be
but, like,
adjusting his eyeliner.
Okay, if anybody, like, if you have a guest over or whatever, or you're at a friend's house or whatever, and anybody says, I have to go to the bathroom, and then they don't come back for, like, 15 minutes.
They're watching TikTok on the toilet. That's what they're doing.
What do you assume is going on? Like, everybody assumes they are pooping, because why else would you be?
They're scrolling TikTok on their phone on the toilet.
Adri, let's be real. You know that you think people are pooping when they're in the bathroom for more than 5 minutes.
I try not to think about other people pooping.
Anyway, it's all solidified by Slughorn
Solidified? We're really going there? You're just talking about poop?
You made it like that. Anyway.
I made it like that. Who brought poop into the conversation?
It is all affirmed. It is all confirmed, whatever you want to say. When Dumbledore comes back into the room and it's like, oh, you were gone for a while. Is your stomach upset? He literally asks that in the chapter.
He said he was reading an article.
Yes, I mean, yes. And he's like, oh no, I was just caught up in your muggle, knitting magazines or whatever. That's better, but, like, now I know that Slughorn thought that he was pooping.
That's Slughorn's problem, man. This man was disguised as a, like, chair.
All I'm saying is that instead of Dumbledore saying, I have to go to the bathroom when he knows he's going to be out of the room for an extended period of time, maybe say, like, oh, I forgot that I have to send this owl before midnight tonight. I'm going to go outside and, write this letter. I'll be back. Like, there are so many things he could have been doing instead.
I need a little cig. I need a little cigarette.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Or, like, my blood sugar is getting low. I'm going to go eat a snack, but I have to go, eat it in the kitchen because it takes some preparation. Or I don't care. Literally, I can, like, come up with a million of them right now on the spot. Like, we did not need to talk about him going to the bathroom and then talking about his upset stomach. It was just like, really? We didn't have to do this. Anyway.
When nature calls, Helene. When nature calls.
It didn't, though. Anyway.
Listeners, now we know that Helene is judging all of you for going to the bathroom.
No, it's pooping. Not. No, literally, it's projecting because, like, I feel so judged. I mean, don't you ever have to go to sometimes you have to go when you're not at home,
Yeah, I don't have the anxiety. No, I don't. You know why I don't have that anxiety? Because when I don't know if I've told you this, actually. So when I was 7, my mom gave me this prescription medicine that her doctor had prescribed to her for, like, my tummy ache, and I had an adverse reaction to that medicine, and my insides got paralyzed.
Oh my God!
So I had to spend an entire week in the hospital. They had to pump my stomach. They had to, like, clear me out basically to reset my system. Because nothing was happening. So,
yeah, that's awful.
So since then, I am supposed to be eating, like, Metamucil and stuff like that, like a little old grandma, because it's never going to be the same. Like, my digestive tract is never going to be the same.
Wow.
And, like, if I gotta poop, you know what? It's good news. It's news that I am still, like...
I am so sorry, listeners, that, like, we got to this. I know that, like, we started off talking about, like, really,
from seductive dances to Nature call.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but like the chapter, it's in the chapter, you know? Like it's not like I'm just decided let's talk about pooping for no reason. Anyway, my actual that is like a legitimate dementor. But like one that I actually, care about a little bit more is Slughorn's like I can't be racist. Some of my favorite people are black. Like vibes that he gives off in this chapter, in the metaphor of mudbloods or muggleborns,
Didn't you hear what
being
I
black.
just said? Your mother was one of my favorite
Yeah,
students, and she wasn't even a pureblood wizard.
yeah. So he's like saying, "Oh, like it was so surprising, like that someone who who was a mudblood or muggleborn was so accomplished and such a good wizard. Like I wasn't expecting it." And then like Harry obviously like sticks up for Hermione, and I was like, "Well, that doesn't mean shit, dude. Like anybody can be a talented wizard. Doesn't matter if they're pure blood or half blood or mudblood or what." And he's like, "Oh no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant." So just like the microaggression, like his racism, being passed off as like, "Oh, I can't be racist. I like black people." Didn't love it. I mean, I don't like Slughorn, and this is why. Anyway, that was my Dementor. My Dementors? What about you?
Well, similarly to yours, I did not want to write the same, Dementors. But I did, I mean, I agree with everything you said except the pooping thing, because I honestly have no weird feelings about poop. But honestly, the way that Slughorn talks about people as objects or pawns to prop up his self-worth and, his perceived celebrity or perceived importance within society really irritated me, especially when he said like, I when he's talking about Sirius and Regulus Black and said like I wanted to have the matching set or something like that. Like
Yeah,
I felt physically ill. I'm not kidding. And it really I was really like, man, that's not a teacher. Like a teacher fosters and nurtures all of their students' qualities rather than think what can they do for me later on. And imagine
totally.
like the lost possibilities, all the possibilities or possible students that he let who could have been
I
great
mean,
and he left slip through his you know
we don't even
hands.
need to imagine because I mean, Neville.
Yes.
He completely dismisses Neville in this book
Oh,
as
I mean I meant as a up to this point, not
yeah, no,
after.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, we get a solid example of what you're talking about in Neville because Neville does go on to do great things. He plays a pivotal role in defeating the greatest or biggest
The
dark
the
wizard.
biggest I was gonna say the biggest baddest wizard.
Yeah, the worst wizard of all time or whatever you want to call him. And then he also, goes on to become a really well respected professor of
and
herbology.
and more importantly, I would say a well-rounded human being. That's just
Exactly.
my 2 cents.
Um, so I mean, yeah, it's sad. Slughorn obviously definitely sees his students as objects rather than human beings that have all different facets and things going for him.
Yeah, he wants, instead of seeing what each person can bring to the table and fostering and nurturing what they have, he sees what he can exploit. And that's what he fosters and nurtures and tries to bring out.
Exactly. Yes.
That being
Um,
said, you did mention Neville, who is always and forever, in my book, a chocolate, if there ever was one. So, what is the chocolate for you in this chapter?
I want to preface my chocolate with just saying, like, I love this chapter in general. Like, I can't just say like the whole chapter for every chocolate. I finished this chapter when I
Is
was
this
reading it for.
okay? So this is becoming this is becoming a thing where it's like if Dumbledore's in the chapter, the
I
entire
mean,
chapter is my chocolate.
I
If
mean, I think I'm
Ginny is
starting
in a
to,
chapter,
yeah, I'm starting to realize like a little bit more why Half Blood Prince is my favorite book. We get a lot of Dumbledore, and we get a lot of Ginny. But yeah, so when I finished reading this chapter, I closed the book and I was just like, this is why I love this book. God, I love this book. This is the best book. Like, like, oh, that was such a good chapter. So, but more specifically, in the chapter, my chocolate was Dumbledore. Completely understanding Harry in every moment, especially near the end when he's having his talk with him at the Burrow, like in the broom closet. I'm just so here for his emotional intelligence. Dumbledore is so emotionally mature and intelligent, especially in these moments. And for some reason, him telling Harry and like giving Harry permission, quote unquote, to like lean on his friends and like tell Ron and Hermione about the prophecy and just like understanding that that's what Harry needs right now, and like kind of being that person to show Harry that it's okay to let the people in your life that you care about in and to like share things with them, because Harry wants to do it but he doesn't know if he should. And having someone that he loves and respects as much as Dumbledore like tell him that he can do that, I think really aids him in his growth.
Well, Dumbledore gives Harry permission to be vulnerable in front of his friends. And what is more courageous than that?
Yeah, I mean, and like it's not like Dumbledore necessarily needed Dumbledore, or not like Harry necessarily needed Dumbledore's permission, but I feel like it helps so much more that he has.
Yeah, encouragement.
Yeah.
Like that was like the one thing maybe Dumbledore also understands how much Harry values his judgment.
Yeah.
And is like, you know what? I think that you should lean into your friendships and this family you've created at Hogwarts for yourself, because they are the ones who have been by your side this entire time.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Love it.
I mean, listeners,
love
get
it,
used to me saying that Dumbledore and or Ginny are my chocolates, because, and I mean, I really hope that like when I say these things, you see why I love them so much, and like maybe it starts to get people to think a little bit differently about these characters, because a lot of people don't understand when I say that Dumbledore is one of my favorite characters. And like this book, we get prime Dumbledore all the way to the end. Like there are some parts at the end of this book that just murder me, and my heart just, oh, I can't wait till we get to them. They're so good. Anyway, what is your chocolate, Adri?
Okay, I wanna ask a follow-up question to the statement that those parts murder you. Do they murder you in a similar way to the way that TikTok video murdered you?
Well, not sexually. No, God, no. They murder my heart, not my nether regions.
I just wanted to hear you say murder sexually.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm glad we drew that distinction. Speaking of things
that was my chocolate for this episode.
we're getting meta again and talking about Dementors and chocolates of the episodes instead of the chapter.
Okay, fine. But okay, so that moment where Dumbledore like poked Slughorn in the belly as he was like the stuffed armchair, hilarious. Like one of the like chocolate? Basically my chocolate is like how hard I laughed at that moment, even knowing it was gonna happen, Helene.
Yeah.
Even knowing. And then you know, that one is kind of tied with, this is kind of part of the same scene anyway, tied with Slughorn being like, okay, so what gave me away?
Yeah.
And Dumbledore's like, I don't know, man, like if Death Eaters were perchance here and decided to murder you or kidnap you, you'd think they'd leave the dark mark on top of the house. Yeah. And Slughorn's like, ah, man, the dark mark, duh.
I knew I was forgetting something. Yeah.
But you know, like I was in the bath and I had to scramble out. Hilarious.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
It's just a good chapter, man. I love this chapter.
Such a good chapter. Well, speaking of things that are good, you know what else is good? our patrons.
Hell
They're the
yeah.
best. And also, our Patreon exclusive episodes. Fantastic, if I do say so myself. We also want to thank all those patrons who keep this show running. Because without you, like the Titanic, I saw a meme of Titanic today. I sent it to you, Helene. So
Yeah, you did.
I have to be the person who brings this back. You are that door
The
sustaining
door.
us.
Yes.
And there is enough room in this door for both Helene and I, so no one dies. If you would also like to be part of this metaphorical door, keeping us afloat in the podcasting sea, you can hop on over to patreon.com/ociopolitics.
Yes, you can. $2 a month is going to get you access to bonus content for every episode, in case you didn't know. And $5 and $10 month tiers are going to get you physical rewards every 3 months, including these amazing stickers that we should be able to post a little sneak peek of what they are on our social media soon. And I promise you guys, it's worth it.
Well,
It's worth
Adri
it.
needs to check her mail because it's supposed to have come in today, but you know how UPS is with USPS when they hand it over. Sometimes that's the next day.
True, true, right. So we'll see. I can't wait. As soon as we get the stickers in the mail, I'm posting it. And I am so excited to show you guys.
I
And
was so pumped. Like, you know how usually, we've transitioned into like creating them in house, like artfully or whatever. But guess what? Holographic paper is not something that I can create in house. So we just ordered them off the internet, guys. It is what it is. It is still original artwork by yours truly. And
yes.
I can't wait for y'all to get them. Now, we're not talking just about stickers today. Today, patrons will get bonus content, and that will be a continuation on Makusa.
Yes, Makusa Part 2.
Helene told me earlier some fun things. We have enough content for a part 3.
Yes, so in 2 episodes from now, just buckle up for that.
Can't wait. It's going to be a wild ride. Just like that TikTok of Dan Rad.
Yes.
I will
Definitely a
continue
wild
bringing it
ride.
up.
Oh, well, I haven't stopped thinking about it since I saw it, so it's not like you're like bringing it like you're not reminding me of it because I'm
Oh,
just always thinking of it.
it will be seared into your brain
Yep.
forever.
This
I
is
wouldn't
true.
be surprised if that was like what flashed before my eyes before I died.
I hope that is the last thing I see before I die.
Hey, things to look forward to.
Anyway, goodness.
Anyhow. All right, so last week we asked our listeners a question, just like we do every week. Last week's question was, do you think Dumbledore should have intervened in the Dursley household before this book? By this book, we mean book 6. Why or why not?
Yes, we got some good answers. Most of them, I mean, I do feel like there is a correct answer to this question in general, and most of them were correct answers. But I'll read a couple of them. So, from at Prairie Queer on Twitter said, I mean, yes, Harry is so clearly abused by the Dursleys. To be honest, I take a lot of issue with quote unquote blood magic as protection anyway. For a story that has themes of a chosen family and your birth not mattering, it really bothers me that the biological relationship between Petunia and Lily is so central to the story. It's clear, especially in later books, that there are people who actually love Harry like family, and it's not the Dursleys. Totally agree.
Oof,
Loved that.
that deserves a moment of contemplation and silence because it was so right.
Yes. Totally there with you, Prairie Queer. And at Fiore A25 on Twitter replied back to Prairie Queer saying, yes, at least to tell them to feed and clothe the child properly and give him a bedroom. Agreed.
Yes. Again, so right. All these
Yes.
answers are spot on.
Yep. And then we got a couple answers on Instagram. They were pretty straightforward. One person at Andrea underscore G underscore Boone said, too late. You know, the fact that, Dumbledore intervened it was too late. He
It
should
was
have done
like
it
too
earlier.
little, too late kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at Rock Climbing Girl 23 said, definitely, as in like he definitely should have intervened before.
And maybe this is something that I just realized. It's that perhaps because Dumbledore is contemplating for the probably the first time his own mortality because of the blackened hand and the ring, and we know what that means for him eventually. He is starting to realize, oh, I might have messed this up.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
trying to overcorrect, which means like now he's getting private lessons from Dumbledore instead of Snape. He is standing up for Harry for the very first time, basically. Other than like Petunia, remember my last, which
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes. And we got one more response from our patron group, secret Facebook group. Katya, patron Katya, wrote, yes, because it was clear from book one that there was child abuse. Sweet Jesus, Dumbledore, what the hell?
Yeah,
So,
Dumbledore thought that he was going to be alive forever, and that he's probably like, I mean, I'm not saying Dumbledore's a boomer, but also maybe hashtag he was a boomer. Like, this just builds character.
yep. Dumbledore's a boomer. Sorry. Uh,
I mean, it is what it is. I said what I said.
yep, you did. So thank you guys so much for your answers. As I always say, I love reading them. These were great this week. I just keep on reaching out, keep on commenting on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those things. It just gives me immense joy to see that people have thought about the question. And this week we've really given you, one that you really need to give some thought to. So
Well, I feel like it is the most important question
it
that we
is.
have ever asked
That
on this
anyone has ever
podcast.
asked, ever.
It is honestly, I know we've gotten philosophical before, guys, but this one is a doozy.
It is. We can't hype it up enough, really.
You can't. And it will come as no surprise if you've listened to this episode so far. This question is vital to Helene's survival, so please answer this question. And here it goes. What excuse should Dumbledore have given to leave Slughorn and Harry alone instead of saying that he was going to the bathroom?
I came up with two great excuses off the top of my head earlier in the episode, and I could think of 500 more, and I know that you guys can too. So tell me, like, I want to hear your most inventive, your most elaborate excuses. What could Dumbledore have possibly said to get him to make it plausible that he was leaving the room for an extended period of time that did not make the reader and or Slughorn think that he was pooping? I
All
need to
right, so
know.
so here's my question to you, Helene. Are you mining for excuses for when you're somewhere and you need to poop to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I need to take this call." And then just scurry to the bathroom?
You uncovered my secret plan. Oh, dang it. No, I mean, this would be great to have just like a list of excuses like this in my back pocket if I ever do need to go to the bathroom in public. But I genuinely want to know what you guys think that Dumbledore could have done in that time that was like plausible and didn't make me picture him in the bathroom. Please. Thanks. You're doing me a great service.
Helene, I feel like I should draw Dumbledore like sitting on a toilet for
Do
you.
not! I do not need the mental image to become like an actual physical image. Please do not.
Listeners, this is my question for you. Should I do it? Yes or yes?
Oh, goodness.
All right, we've laughed. We've semi-cried. We've talked about poop and we've talked about conflicting sexuality.
It's been an episode, guys.
It's time to talk about the media we've been consuming that is not Harry Potter related. What do you have for us this week, Helene? I mean,
Well,
let's say I want to wait. I want to say something real quick before we get into this. You have broken my brain. I listened back to our segment last week and I was just like, wow, she really broke me in that moment with Sexy Beasts.
did you watch it?
I did watch one episode
What did you think?
with Seth. And it was like the first episode, the one with the devil.
Yeah, it's actually not that
lady.
good of an episode. I don't know why they made that the first episode, to be honest. It was not good.
It was palatable.
Yeah.
And it was something is what I can
Yeah.
say about it.
Yeah,
It was something.
It is definitely something. I could agree with you there.
Obviously the people did not look anything at all like I imagined them.
Yep.
So I guess that's the point. Duh.
Yeah.
But I am still haunted by some of those faces
Right.
that were shown in.
Well, talking about, taking recommendations and watching things that people have asked people to watch, I recently found out. Okay, so I'm going to be real here, and I hope that the Apple police are not listening to this podcast, but I have been lying to Apple for like 6 years and saying that I am still a student. I graduated back in 2015, but I have
ma'am. I too have been lying to Apple. So please, Apple, please don't come after us.
So
We're
Apple
struggling.
Music.
We're still struggling students.
No, I need it. I need the amount, the $5 a month that I get back for lying about being a student is worth it. So the Apple Music student subscription is $5 a month instead of $10 a month. And so and all you have to do every year, they just send you an email asking you to verify your like university email address. And I just do that every year. I just put in my university email address and it renews it. So anyway, I found out that Apple Music student subscriptions come with free Apple TV, and I did not know this. So I have had access to Apple TV all this time and did not know. But because of this, I took your recommendation and I started Ted Lasso.
And you probably hated it.
I like it. I'm only about 3 episodes in.
Okay. You gotta get into it.
So as a show overall, like I like the dialogue, the writing is great, the acting is great, like the characters are likable. It's good. You probably told me this and I forgot, but like I guess I didn't realize that it was about sports and I'm not a sports person.
Oh no.
So,
yes, I did tell you it was about sports.
Okay. Correct. Yeah, I just I'm watching and I'm like, wait, the show's about soccer? No. Ew. Anyway, I'm trying to get past all the sportsy stuff because I do really like Ted as a character and I think the jokes are funny and like I think I will like it. I just have to kind of like get into it. Also,
wait until so the best episode of the entire season, like season 1, is Diamond Dogs. Once you get there, if you do not like it, I think we need to stop being friends.
mean, I like it enough already to a point where I probably will just watch all the episodes. Like I don't think I need to like make it to a certain point. Like I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna watch it. I just wish sports is just maybe it'll make me enjoy the sports more. I don't know. I will say, and you might have told me this also, but I feel like I would remember this one piece of information. But Anthony Stewart Head plays a character named Rupert. And I lost my mind because, in case you guys are not aware, I mean, listeners, you should be aware already that I am the biggest Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan on the planet of Earth. And Anthony Stewart Head plays the iconic role of Rupert Giles, her watcher in Buffy. And
Correct, correct.
he is just like, that is like who Anthony Stewart Head is in my head. Anthony Stewart Head in my head is Rupert Giles.
I'm
And
sorry, but
the fact
that sounds like a song title.
I know, right? Head in my head? No. Um
No. Rupert Stewart Head in my head.
Anthony Stewart Head.
Oh, sorry.
But I see why you got it mixed up, because he now
Sorry.
plays two people named Rupert.
Sorry, that is my mistake. He just has a face for a Rupert, you know?
Yeah, he should just change his name to Rupert at this point. So yeah, when I found out that there was a character named Rupert, because you don't actually see the character except in the first 3 episodes, except for like there's a picture that like you kind of see his face like a tiny little bit, and I was like, that kind of looks like Anthony Stewart Head. I can't tell though, so like I can't say for sure, but if that is, like, it's crazy because his character's name is Rupert. That can't be him. He wouldn't do that. I looked it up on IMDb and I confirmed it, and yes, yeah, I lost my mind. Anyway, Ted Lasso for you. I'm watching it. I am somewhat enjoying it. Also, because I found out that I have access to Apple Plus, I also started a show called Schmigadoon. Have you heard of this show?
Yes, it is produced by Lorne Michaels and it stars
Keegan Michael Key and Cecily
Key.
Strong.
Yes.
Yes. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Brigadoon. It's a musical. They're like this couple that's having issues. They find themselves in this town in the middle of nowhere. It's like a magical town, and it's a musical there, and they don't know what's going on. And it has an amazing cast, like freaking Kristen Chenoweth is in it. Like it's it's great. I love musical TVs, like musical TV shows, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, those types of things. Really, Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, love it. So
Which
I'm
got
thoroughly enjoying
canceled.
it. What?
It got canceled.
I
So it's
know.
extraordinary playlist.
I know. I'm so sad. And like right when there was a big twist too, I was excited to see what happened. Anyway, R.I.P. Zoe. But Schmigadoon, very enjoyable, nice, lighthearted musical comedy. If you have Apple Plus, Apple TV, and you want to check it out, those are mine. What about you?
Well, I have been reading one of, as you know, lover of romance novels here. It's titled When We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. I love Jasmine Guillory. She is a fantastic writer and she is a black woman who writes, you know, multi-ethnic romances. We need more people of color in our romances. I'm sorry, but we do. And this one is about a black actress who like meets this ad exec well, not executive, but like a person who's doing like her ad campaign that she's a part of, and they kind of start not dating, like just casually hooking up, and then they start pretending they're dating for the public, for her career. and
Okay.
it and there is nothing more that I love than a fake dating plot or a fake engagement plot or a fake marriage plot. So I am all in, and this one has the bonus of celebrity, which, by the way, not an intentional thing in this episode, but I was like, yes, 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 loving it. I haven't finished it yet, but it's pretty good. The dialogue is fantastic. The plotting, chef's kiss. Like it's they're building emotional intimacy as well as physical intimacy. I'm here for it.
Awesome. That's a glowing recommendation.
Also, side note, because I mean you had two things, so I have to have two things
Oh
too.
my god, totally. Go ahead.
Motherland. Motherland, the TV show, I know I've plugged this before, on Freeform. There's a big twist on the last episode I saw that came out this week, and I can't wait for the next
Was that the
week's
show
episode.
with the witches?
Correct. And they're
Right,
only
okay.
like matrilineal, so like only
Right.
women who have daughters, and like the daughters can carry on the power. Men can be born with power, but they cannot give that to their sons,
Got it.
only to their daughters. Like it's weird. Like the power is only carried through the maternal line. So
Right.
there's like,
Motherland, that makes sense.
and there's like, the US Army is made of just witches, and like, because the General Sarah Alder, who is still alive, there's a complicated reason why she's still alive. She has like basically 6 what they call biddies, quote unquote, at each time. And those are like people who devote themselves to like giving of their life source to her to keep her alive. Basically, Horcruxes that are living and breathing and die. And then she has to find another biddy to continue living. She is the United States Army general, and this show really delves into like the complicated nature of war and the complicated nature of governing, and it's just, there's politics and magic and all the good stuff that I obviously enjoy. Feminism, matrilineal societies. The men are basically, just there to support the women. The women are in charge. It's a nice and refreshing take.
All right, sounds good.
Anyhow, I think we're done with that. That's it for today's episode. Join us next week to talk about Chapter 5 of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This one is titled An Excess of Phlegm. Okay.
Hopefully we're not sick with a cold next week, but sure. Anyway. If you've enjoyed this conversation about Daniel Radcliffe strip dancing and poop, not in the same context, please take a second to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Podbean or wherever the heck you might be listening to our voices in your ears at this moment, for reasons previously stated that do not need repeating, but, just do it, guys. Please. Thanks.
Honestly, it probably makes Helene feel just as excited as she was when she saw that Dan Rad video. That's all I'm saying.
It makes me just as excited as when I received that autographed picture in the mail when I was 12 years old.
Oh, what a moment for baby Helene. Yes, baby Helene. If you told baby Helene that Dan Rad was going to do a video like that in the future, could you imagine?
I would be very confused as a 12-year-old, that is for sure.
You're still confused anyway. Until then, politics managed. Support this show by going to patreon.com/occhiopolitics. Our patrons keep this show going. You can find us online at occhiopolitics.com, and we are at Occhiopolitics on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can email us your thoughts at info@occhiopolitics.com. Leave us a voicemail at 915-996-1699, and you might just hear yourself on the podcast. Adriana Wilson is the founder and creative director of the podcast. Helene Karp is the producer and social media manager. Allison Pullman is the audio wizard and editor who makes us sound so good. Cover art and physical rewards are designed by Adriana Wilson. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are expressly their own and not representative of their employers or associates. Occiopolitics is part of the MuggleNet family of podcasts.